Hi, I'm Ryan Cleckner with Gun University, and we're going to start off our series on scopes by covering each and every part. We're going to cover each component part of the scope with a brief introduction of what those parts do, because later we're going to deep dive into each one of them, talk about their features, how to use them, and how they can work for you with shooting. So to start with, at the far end of the scope, the end of the scope that's facing the target, underneath this lens cap right here, is the objective lens. Working our way back through the scope, we have the scope body, followed by the turrets. Now on many long-range shooting scopes, you're going to have 3 turrets. On some hunting scopes or lower-end scopes, you're not. You're going to have 2 turrets. Let's discuss what each one is. The turret on the right side of the scope is the windage turret. Now turrets can either be capped or exposed, and this scope has a mix of each. This windage turret is capped, meaning it has a cap covering it to protect it. This helps from accidental adjustments, helps protect it from the elements, things like that. This windage turret will adjust the impact of the bullet right or left. On the top of the scope, we have the elevation turret. On this particular scope, the elevation turret is exposed, meaning I can just adjust it directly. This adjusts the impact of the bullet up and down. Now on this scope, on the left side, we have a parallax adjustment or target focus. It can be called either one depending on the scope. And this is going to actually change the focus of the target image, and it's going to take care of a problem that we call parallax. Again, we'll get into it later. Working our way back the scope, on this scope we have an adjustable magnification here. On this particular scope, this Night Force, when I adjust the magnification of the scope, the entire ocular housing adjusts as well. But on other scopes, sometimes just the magnification ring adjusts while the ocular housing stays put. Now, while we're at the ocular housing, which is the lens that your eye looks through, we're going to have an ocular focus. And this is perhaps the most overlooked thing I see when people are setting up scopes for their rifle. And it adjusts differently depending on the scope you're working with. Sometimes the entire ocular housing will adjust, whereas this scope, just this outer ring adjusts to be able to focus that to your eye. What that does is it allows you to focus your eye to the reticle inside the scope, where this side focus adjusts the target. And lastly, we have the rings here. This is what we're going to use to actually mount the scope to your rifle. Well, now that we know what the basic component parts of the scope are, let's go ahead and dive into each one of them and see how we can make them work for you.